Nothing can beat the sensory overload you experience when you visit a place for the first time. Through the power of social media, we've quickly learned where some of the most beautiful, breathtaking places in the world are. If you're new here, I'm Cody Buffington, an adventure travel vlogger, and I've made it my goal to see as much of the world as I can before I die. Ibn Battuta, a Moroccan scholar, once said, "Traveling, it leaves you speechless, then turns you into a storyteller." I fully believe in this, and I want to now share a story of the top 5 places that I've personally been to and that you have to see. Before getting started, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you like these types of videos, and turn on my notifications so you'll know when a new video comes out. Now, traveling can be expensive. That's why it's always a good idea to start in Southeast Asia. Number 5 is Indonesia. And not only does it have Bali, but the surrounding islands of Nusa Penida and Komodo Dragon Island were some of my favorites. Bali has blown up recently, and for good reason. Grab a couple friends and rent a massive villa with a pool for only $20 a night.
Look at that! Whoa! Nice!
Then rent some scooters and go surfing for the day, if you can. I can't. Or you can go snorkeling with some pretty massive manta rays. You can then take a short ferry to the island of Nusa Penida, which has become increasingly popular this year with its T-Rex shaped land formation. You'll find some of the most beautiful water and beaches here as well. After returning to Bali, we flew to this island called Flores, where we then hired a boat to take us to Komodo Dragon Island.
Wow. Jeez.
And yep, you guessed it, this place is just as beautiful. Number 4 is Hawaii. If you're looking for a beautiful tropical island with faster Wi-Fi and more of a luxury aspect to it, then this is the place to go. Hawaii is so diverse that one day you can rent a car and go visit some amazing waterfalls. Then you drive a little bit further and you find fields of lava rock and even flowing lava. My favorite way to see new places is by air, and taking a helicopter ride around Hawaii has to be a bucket list item. Hawaii is also great for hiking, and you'll probably find some unique places in the jungle.
Whoa, check that out. Doesn't get any cooler. We're walking across these huge pipes, and we're in Jurassic Park.
And of course, since it's Hawaii, there are a ton of beautiful beaches. Number 3 is the always amazing Greece. I went here twice last year, once to many of the islands and once road tripping around the countryside, so I've covered a good amount of it. Now, depending on what type of traveler you are, where you go in Greece will probably vary. Most people come to Greece to visit the islands of Mykonos and Santorini. Both are beautiful islands, but very different. Mykonos is mostly known as the party island, where lots of rich people go to vacation. So just know it's pretty expensive, but very beautiful. Santorini is where lots of couples go and enjoy some of the best sunsets in the world. The most picturesque town in Santorini, called Ia, has many villas and hotels on the edge of a cliff with a pool overlooking the ocean, perfect for sunset. These are the 2 most famous islands, but there are many more smaller ones which are just a short ferry ride away. Some of my favorites include Hydra, which has beautiful architecture everywhere, Spetses, and Amioni. As for the other side of Greece, everyone has to see Athens. Since that's where you fly into, you might as well just take a quick taxi over to the Acropolis and see the historic theater and Parthenon.
even with all the scaffolding and the cranes. It's beautiful.
There are a ton of foods, but my all-time favorite is the Greek gyro. Gyros? However you want to call it?
Gyro.
We got some, oh, it's looking good. Road tripping around the other part of Greece, which is known as the Peloponnese, you'll find many incredible towns. Some of my favorites are Nafplio, where you can climb this castle fortress that overlooks the whole city, and Monemvasia, which is called the fairy tale town, because it literally looks like it's out of a fairy tale.
This looks amazing. Look at this. I see why it's guarded now. This is the best town ever.
The town is on a little island and is fully protected by a massive stone wall. And there are no cars in the town because there aren't any roads big enough for them, just beautiful cobblestone paths. So you have to park outside the town. Now heading up north of Greece, we stopped at a spot called Meteora, where you'll see these monk monasteries sitting on top of large freestanding rocks. It doesn't look real, it looks like it's out of a movie, which is the reason I had to go see it. Number 2 on my list is Japan. I've also been here twice this past year alone, spending over 45 days here. I love Japan, and for many reasons. Coming from America, Japan is so unique and different that you have a complete culture shock as soon as you get here. You could come to Japan and spend your whole time in just Tokyo. You shouldn't, but you could because there's so much to do. There are a lot of themed restaurants and cafes you can visit, such as the Cat Cafe, where you just go and play with a ton of cats in a room, and it has become so popular that they have now started opening them around the world. But my all-time favorite was the Tokyo Robot Restaurant, where giant LED robots and dancers perform in a show that words just can't describe. Another popular spot in Tokyo is the Akihabara district, which is where you go for anything games, electronic, and anime related. Even if you don't like any of those things, go for a walk at night because it is quite the sight to see.
Nowhere else could I imagine something as crazy as this.
Japanese food is also one of my favorites, and I didn't know that until I went there. I tried so many different foods like shabu shabu, yakitori, soba, udon, dumplings, but my favorite is the all-time original tonkatsu ramen. The first time I went to Japan was in the middle of April to see the cherry blossoms, and it is the most breathtaking season in Japan. It will surely be more crowded because of that, but it's definitely worth the visit. Traveling out of Tokyo, you'll find different cities and towns where the cherry blossoms are in full effect. Luckily, Japan is very high-tech and transportation is easy. You can either take the local trains in Tokyo or the Shinkansen bullet train to further places, all of which have English signs, and the Japanese are very helpful. Japan has many temples and shrines around the countryside which are stunning and you have to see. But my personal favorite is the bamboo forest in Kyoto. And finally, my number 1 country to visit is Iceland. Iceland is the frozen version of Hawaii and is becoming increasingly popular due to shows like Game of Thrones and many big movies shooting there. The landscape in Iceland is like no other, which is why it's my number 1. Every hour or two that you drive, you'll enter into a new type of terrain, and you'll definitely be stopping constantly to get out of your car and explore.
But we have discovered, just on the side of the road, you can just find the coolest stuff out here.
It's a relatively small country with one main highway that circles the whole outside of the island. So it's easy to get around, but you may want to rent an all-wheel drive heavy-duty car for some of the more less traveled paths, or this could happen.
That noise does not sound good. Should be good.
Iceland is known for its insane waterfalls, its vast black sand beaches, snow-capped mountains and fjords, geysers, icebergs and glaciers. And the main reason I went to Iceland, the Northern Lights. The Northern Lights were one of the most satisfying experiences that I checked off my bucket list. Our happiest moments as tourists always seem to come when we stumble upon one thing while in pursuit of something else. That is the best way that I can describe Iceland. This has been my top 5 favorite places that I've personally been to. Down in the comments below, tell me some of your favorite places and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you want to see more of the places that I mentioned, I have full playlists on my channel of each of these and they go into greater depth on each one. That's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe and thank you guys for watching.